So good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I just want to thank you all for being here and joining the first part of a series of webinars, which we will be hosting throughout the year. Now, the webinars will be focused around the food and beverage industry and aligned with different topics of discussion and content accordingly. So for the first one, we've paired up with the FDEA, the Food and Drink Export Association in the UK, and Range Me, which is our sister brand. A brief introduction on myself. My name is Bruno Augusto. I'm an international sales manager at ECRM, and I'm responsible for spearheading all ECRM's European food and beverage programs, as well as working directly in our supplier sales team. I will also be a moderator for the webinar. And today, as you can see, we have several speakers lined up for you, each of them with their own individual expertise. And during the webinar, they will be discussing how to build a future-proof business with virtual solutions. So, as you are all well aware, most of today's interactions are all held online. Now, the topics of discussion are as follows. We'll have Sandra from the FDEA, who will speak about the relationship to trade shows and doing business, followed by Clayton from ECRM, giving you some insight into trends from a retail perspective. It'll be myself taking you on the ECRM customer journey from a supplier perspective, followed by Margaret, who will follow on from that customer journey by highlighting the process and benefits of ECRM's premium service. We'll bounce back to Sandra and our guest speaker, Benham, who has attended ECRM programs in the past and will share his experience with ECRM's virtual solution. And then finally, we will finish off with Willem from Range Me, who will be giving us a demonstration of the Range Me platform, followed, of course, to finish off some time for Q&A. So without further ado, I would love to pass you over to Sandra.
Great. Thank you very much, Bruno, and welcome everybody. I can see some familiar names in the list there, so hello to those of you that know us, and nice to meet those of you that are the new, both to FDA and to ECRM. On the slides that follow, I'm just going to give you a quick run through on the Food and Drink Exporters Association, so that you can see a little bit more about what we do as a team. We've partnered now with ECRM over the last couple of years to really help promote the programs that their team have created. We were dabbling with getting involved in the physical offer that they used to have prior to the pandemic, so we were both aware of each other, but the world changed and we managed to change with it, and it's been good to help sort of build that relationship and offer another opportunity for food and drink companies to connect. So on the next slide, you'll see a little bit about us as an association. We do pretty much what it says on the tin, no great surprises, I think, in what you would expect a Food and Drink Exporters Association to do. We do very much bill ourselves as a community of companies in the export sector. And I think that's really, really important. It's really something that we've pushed, particularly over the last 2 years when getting out to physical events has been more difficult. We've been able to run events online, we've been able to offer advice online, but we've really been able to bring the food and drink exporters together so that they can actually learn from each other, share insights, seek help. And it's been a really big part of what we do. And that's in addition to representing the export sector with government. We work very closely with DIT, with DEFRA. We're on a number of roundtables and export work groups and all sorts of things. So there's always something interesting going on in our world. I just wanted to flag up some of the members that we have. And I think it's really important just to say that if you're a small new exporter, we're as relevant to you as if you're an established exporter just seeking to be part of that community and connect. I know we've got some big brands listening in today. Apologies if I haven't got your logo on. I didn't go through the list and put you in. But I think it's reflective of the kind of service we do. We're a very personable team, and we're keen to sort of help, the major retailers that are exporting through to the little companies at the beginning of their export journey. We also have a number of export service providers. They're very key to our community in that they are the experts, professional experts in their fields. And we bring them in on a number of our events to support what we're doing. The final element is just to say that we do a lot of bespoke stuff as well. We've got people that we work with in market. So anyone that's looking for some specific help on export, if you don't know us and you're not connected with us yet, do drop either Nicola a line, whose email is on this slide, or me, mine will come up a little bit later, and we can chat that through. So trade shows and events, as Bruno said, a big part of today is about talking you through the opportunities that are available online for you, whilst getting out to physical events is still tricky in some parts of the world. Our team are known for running the UK group stands at a wide range of international shows. And clearly since, I don't think we've had one that we've been to since January 2020. I actually forget which year it was. It's all sort of become a big blur. But clearly the world has changed dramatically in that time. And one of the things we can explore is sort of trade shows moving forward, and how this kind of online program can continue to complement trade shows as part of the mix within your plans for reaching out to buyers. Just a little bit of a plug that it's not just me that thinks we're great. We put a couple of testimonials in from people as well. And I think it's, you can tell by the names there, different size of companies, different level of experiences. I think Anthony from Corn's actually on the call at the moment. And yeah, he gave us a very nice testimonial just last week about the breadth of knowledge that we have as a team, and how we can sort of work together to, face the challenges that exporters have. And what I'll do now is just sort of really chat through a little bit more in terms of what's been going on in the sector, and some of the trends that are affecting us, and things that need to be considered. I know there's, again, varying experience on the call, but I think it's pretty clear to everyone that if we can have anything else thrown at us, I can't think what it could be, because we've had so much thrown at us as the food and drink sector. We thought Brexit was the only problem we were going to have, and then we've obviously had the pandemic, the shipping crisis, staff shortages, supply chain issues. It's been so difficult for everybody, and I think it's clearly a new landscape that we're all now working in. Consumers have very much shifted their behaviour. I think that's key. You can see a lot of habits that have changed, and I think many of them are here to stay, and I'm sure you agree. Health and well-being, I think, has never been so much at the forefront of the average shopping basket. Things like online retail have boomed, and dining at home. We now like the experience of dining in our home and expecting a quality offer for that. I think what's interesting for those of you that may be on the call who perhaps are not yet exporting, what you will find is those are trends that are not just specific to the UK. They are global trends. It's everywhere. I'm sure you will find, if you take part in the ECRM, that the kind of questions that the buyers are asking are very much in line with these trends. They know that people are looking for products now that very much align with their own social and ethical values, and the retailers have got to respond to that. The whole climate change issue, the health of the planet, these are things that people expect to see on your product, on your packaging, and trust in you and the brand and the retailer is really key as well in the choices that consumers are making. When we talk about the actual Meet the Buyer event, it'll be interesting to hear Benham's views, but I think what we're finding is that to be prepared and really stand out and really make a difference when you're talking to a buyer, you've got to really research what their vision is, what their sustainability agenda is, what they're expecting. And you've got to identify what your niche is and how your product fills that gap for them. Because, it's quite easy to go online and look up, what you think is a target customer, and they'll all have statements and plans and values that they're striving to. So I think that's really important, and a big shift. It's not just, hey, look at my product. You've got to have all those values that the consumer is now looking for in some way or other in what you're proposing.
Yep. And I have a quick question from someone for you, Sandra. May I become a member of FDEA if my company is not from the UK?
If we do focus solely on UK food and drink companies, our broader network outside of being a member can offer services. So if someone's looking to get into the French market, for example, we work very closely with a company, Sutralis, who are experts in the French market. So whilst that wouldn't be directly through the FDA, we can certainly help to signpost to support. So yeah, very happy that you dropped me a line, and we can see where we can help. We're a nice bunch. If it's not too difficult, we're happy to make a referral.
Oh, thank you very much for the introduction. Also, a quick hello to Maximo, Shirley, and Raisa, who said hello in the chat. Welcome everybody else. Firstly, I'd just like to thank all of you for taking some time out of your busy days to participate in this webinar. My name is Clayton Kilkenny, and my role in the retail team provides me with the wonderful opportunity to speak with buyers and purchasing teams each day and hear about their wants and needs and what's keeping them awake at night. I will do my best to provide you with a few key takeaways to help you future-proof your business with virtual solutions. As ECRM's specialty is in efficient collaborative retail meetings, I will focus on the keys to success in this type of interaction. First and foremost, as a couple of people have mentioned already, preparation is key. I know when you have to prepare for 10 to 30 meetings in a day that could go across for the whole week, it's very hard to genuinely prepare for each meeting. So how can you do this? It's easy with ECRM. And I have a few life hacks that might be able to assist. I can't speak on behalf of all platforms, but within ECRM, you will know exactly who you're going to be meeting with. You'll know exactly which categories that they cover. And of course, you'll know if they're focusing on private label and or branded. Let's start there. If you know that a buyer is covering branded products, first we need to consider what's important to them. So what are branded buyers looking for? Branded buyers in particular from the big retailers want to see some type of proof of success. How have you been successful? How have you been successful in your community, your local market, your national market, or international markets? And this could be in sales volume, it could be in social media followers, production, engagement, store trials. Buyers want to be able to reduce their risk. And knowing that a product is successful in another market or channel reduces the buyer's risk and improves the probability that the product will be successful in their store. And it's great to have these metrics in the presentation. What else is important? So do you have a marketing budget and is it allocated? Do you have a launch strategy for their country or their region? Are you offering exclusivity? Who else are you currently working with? And do you already have exclusive agreements with other retailers or other parties within their region or country? Do you have distribution partners? What is different about you? What are your USPs? And I'm sure this is not new to anyone on the call, but natural ingredients and sustainable packaging are now the standards. Rather than USPs, buyers want to know what else is different about you. And how will you assist maybe with their in-store launch? Do you have an in-house social media team? Maybe they're creating great content and you can co-promote. Retailers are looking for partnerships and promotion support. I know this sounds like a lot, but really if you can cover this in the first 5 to 10 minutes and prove that you could become a legitimate partner, it leaves the rest of the meeting open to answer questions and engage in more meaty dialogue. Then private label buyers, completely different. So please always know whether you're in ECRM context and other contexts, which meeting you're walking into or digitally accessing. One of the biggest mistakes that you can make is going into a meeting with a private label buyer and start talking about those social media accounts or marketing budgets. Often they're just not interested. Private label buyers, they want to know if you are indeed the manufacturer. Where are your production locations? How much of your production is actually allocated to private label versus branded? Can you handle their volumes? Can you cater to their packaging requirements? And who are you currently supplying? Are you familiar with their current range? Can you offer a similar product at a better price? Or is there a gap in their range that your product can possibly fill? And these are very different questions, and the presentation should obviously be customized accordingly. The next cheat or life hack that you could use is to know the channel. It's really difficult to know every description that you are going to be, every description of the retailer or buyer that you're going to be working with, particularly at a trade show or an ECRM environment with fast-paced interactions and a diverse list of buyers. Examples like the ECRM program that's coming up in food, we have traditional brick and mortar supermarket chains like Jumbo, Carrefour Poland, and Delhaize in Greece. And you have big buying groups and alliances like AMS Sourcing, United Nordic, and EMD. And we have drugstores and quick commerce, food delivery, and everything in between. If you don't have the time or resources to research every participant, and if you do, please do, it's very important. But if you don't, it's super important to at least know the channel and ideally highlight recent success or examples of current partners in that same vertical. To close, one of the most important things that all of us can do to future-proof our business with virtual solutions is focus on how we can help our current customers and potential customers. And in this context, how can we best help retailers? And to think about it from their perspective, what is important to them and growing their categories and business. And first, the basics. In order to do business with the retailers, we need to have the right certifications, distribution capabilities, and a go-to-market strategy. And then we have to communicate how can we help them increase their margin, sell more products, increase traffic to their web shops and stores, and reduce risk with consistent supply and demonstrated success. I hope this has been helpful to some of you. Thank you again for your time and for taking time out of your busy days to join us.
That leaves myself and Margaret to introduce, let's say, a little bit in terms of the process if you're a supplier and interested to join one of the ECRM programs. But before I talk to you about the, what that process looks like, I do want to give you the foundation of story of ECRM. It's quite unique and interesting, and I think you guys will enjoy it. Our founder, his name was Charlie Bolus. Before founding the company, he worked in the retail industry as a buyer and wholesaler for several chains, including Target, which you all know, Cook United, and Boston Distributors. Now, Charlie would attend trade shows as a buyer, and he found it difficult to navigate the long list of suppliers and large exhibition halls. So he set about trying it a different way for buyers and suppliers to connect, and he founded the company Efficient Collaborative Retail Marketing, commonly referred to as ECRM. Now, the essence of the programs, one, the meetings are category specific. Two, they're pre-qualified one-on-one meetings directly with decision makers, so brand owners and category buyers. And then three, all the clients are prepared and supported by ECRM's client success team. And this is where Margaret is also going to expand on that. Now, the Meet the Buyer format is still quite novel. In 1994, before the internet boom, there was a huge innovation, and ECRM took the retail industry by storm, quickly developed those relationships with leading retailers like CVS, which continue to participate with us today. And since then, we have expanded into the UK with global category planning programs as early as 2003. With key retail partnerships such as Sainsbury's, Boots, Asda, Tesco, and others. And then we set up our first European office in Utrecht in Netherlands in 2017. Now, what does the customer journey look like? And this is quite short. So within Europe specifically, we organize multiple category specific programs. Within the food and beverage industry, we have segmented this into 6 different programs. As you can see there, this is dry grocery, shelf-stable beverages, snack and confectionery, frozen, chilled and dairy. And we do have a baby and toddler program where food and feeding is also a specific product category focus within. Now, when a supplier is interested in joining one of our programs, in the first instance, it would be myself or one of the relevant sales managers according to your territory that would schedule a short meeting with you or with any supplier to understand their product SKUs, their capabilities, and to see whether there is a match with our retail buying partners. We like to ensure that the suppliers we bring on board are going to extract enough value from our programs, and if they have a product offering that is also in line with what our buyers are looking for. Now, equally, we want to satisfy our buyers as they are a fundamental part of our value proposition. And also, it's good to note that within every program, there's only 2 packages. And we offer a 10-minute package and a 20-minute package. And this is the time that each supplier will have directly with the buyer. So at this point, a supplier can choose whether they're happy with all the information, they're happy with the buyer list, and at that point, they can choose whether or not they want to register. And all you have to let us know is which package you'd like to do, and also what your requirements are, capabilities, what you're looking for, et cetera, et cetera. That's usually covered in that meeting with the sales manager. So now I'm going to pass you over to Margaret. So she's going to explain what happens when a supplier confirms their registration and what the client success management team, the CSMs, what their role is and how they help the suppliers.
Thank you, Bruno. Hi, everyone. So my name is Margaret. I am one of the client success managers here in ECRM. So what are the key steps really in the client journey? I really like the word journey, actually, that take place after registration. So each supplier, first of all, as previously already mentioned, will have a dedicated client success manager or CSM assigned to them. And this is for active communication around preparation. You know, it's also about deadlines, schedules, and any updates. So first steps first, CSM normally reaches out to the suppliers with preparation info and also schedule a preparation call. And the preparation call is really where we discover all the steps or all the journeys that will come along. We will introduce the supplier to the preparation page where all information is held. We will also discuss the important information that is needed to ensure that we complete the supplier's profile. So suppliers do need to create an ECRM profile, answer capability survey questions, and also set up their relevant product categories for each of the programs. We will also discuss through and also remind as a next step on how the scheduling process works, and just make sure that everybody has kind of good overview and also understands the scheduling page, which is also a part of the preparation page. As I mentioned, all this information is always at the client's hand and at their hand's reach on the ECRM portal, so they can always access it. After the preparation call, we normally suggest a second touch point, which is also to introduce the ECRM Connect, which is the virtual platform where the meetings take place. And this will be also held with each of the attendees. So if there is multiple attendees from the company, we just want to make sure that there is a test call done. Each attendee knows how to use the platform and what the features are. And lastly, really to highlight, CSM always do their best also to advise with best practices. We're normally at this point of time probably very used to virtual meetings and kind of conversations taking place virtually. But we always ensure that there is best practices that we can recommend on how to present your products, you know, what content to use, as well as, you know, questions about the buyers who are attending. You will have at your hands, as previously mentioned, buyers' profiles, their categories, what they're looking for and what their focuses are, to really make sure that you are well prepared for each of the meetings. So it is truly a preparation journey, as there are multiple touch points with the CSM. We send out regular reminders and also updates as we go along in that process. Now, from supplier's perspective, last thing just to summarize, also, it's really important that you invest the time to prepare for the program. And as Clayton mentioned previously, invest the time for each of the meetings. So that's why also we recommend that you do kind of commit or consider to register earlier on in the program, just to make sure that you will have success in the preparation process, which really is the key. So from my side, I hope this information was informative, and perhaps I look forward to also meeting some of you in the next weeks ahead.
Yeah, we thought it'd be a nice idea just to have a conversation with somebody who has used the platform and been a participant at ECRM events in the past. Tell us a little bit about who Borna are, first of all, just to bring you to life to people that don't know you.
Hi, my name is Benham. I'm the founder of Borna Foods. Borna Foods established in 2014. We are a nuts and dry fruit importer, mostly pistachio, almond, and cashew. And we also a small food manufacturer who produce nut butters such as pistachio, almond, and cashew nut butters. And well, I'm not working for ECRM, so today I'm just going to share my knowledge, and I'm not getting any commission, so I'm going to be very, very honest today with everyone. And well, if you have any questions, Sandra, I'm happy to answer.
That sounds fair enough, doesn't it? I think. So yeah, perhaps tell us about the program that you did take part in and what your experience was of working on that one.
Well, yeah, I have. I think we have attended 3 times during the last 2 years, and being honest with you, it was very, very successful. We listed several companies through the ECRM, and one of them was Ocado. And so if I want to talk about the buyers, they were really serious, and so they search up and study about our brand before they join to the meeting, which was very important for us. And so we still follow up. You know, we still emailing some of the buyers which we had from. BFO, I mean the last one. And in terms of companies, they are all serious, big, and of course there have been some small companies, some small buyers, but I found it very, very useful, and it's one of the best and cost-effective way to list with the big buyers, because if you want to go to attend CL, Anuga, or even IFE, you have to spend at least around £5,000 to £10,000. And well, during the COVID it's even more expensive. But with ECRM it's much cheaper. So you're going to have meetings here in your office, I mean virtually, and it's much easier and much cost-effective way to create a network, I think.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And I think it's interesting what you said about the retailer researching you, because a point I think we've made a couple of times today is about making sure that the producer has done their research. But I think it's really encouraging that the retailers are engaged enough that they're doing the research back again. So that's good to hear. One question we get asked is about the length of the meetings. 10 minutes doesn't sound very long.
When you try to put everything you want in 10 minutes and practice, then you're going to have 4 to 5 minutes to talk and 4 to 5 minutes to answer questions. And I found it was absolutely fine, because the beauty of this meeting is that you need to really prepare, and you need to just go straight to the points that you want the buyer to hear. So 10 minutes was absolutely enough.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And your sort of rough balance of 4 to 5 minutes of presenting yourself and then them asking the questions, that's good sort of insights for people that haven't done it before. You mentioned trade shows, and yeah, I think everyone agrees now that there's a role to play for both of these. Trade shows themselves, it's a good way of catching up with existing customers, of tasting the product, having the product in hand. As a business, are you still combining the two? You're still doing trade shows? As
you know, we attended Anuga. We're going to attend IFE and also CL Paris. But ECRM is always on our table, so is a combination of both, I think.
And is private label something that you do, Benham? Was the advice that was shared earlier? Do you think that's
we do it for some export clients. We do the private label for some export clients, and we are BRC. We are not still BRC food manufacturer, but BRC agent and brokers, but we're in process to get our BRC as well. So then we can have even more clients for private label.
Yeah. One of the other comments and one of the benefits of us joining up with ECRM is that when we've run our own Meet the Buyer events, they've been very much distributor-led. So we would invite international distributors to connect with UK suppliers to then find routes to market. How do you find dealing directly with the retailer? Do they tend to come with the solution of are they buying direct, or do they tend to work through distributors? Is there a standard?
Yeah, some of the small retailers, they ask us to list our products with distributors in their country. So they introduce us to those distributors. So we talk to them, and we're still trying to list with them. And this Brexit really slow everything down, unfortunately. And well, I don't want to talk about Brexit here, but but yes, they always have a solution for it.
So next up, we have Willem from our Arrange Me sister brand, and feel free to take it away.
Thank you, Bruno. Yeah, I'll be telling you a little bit about the Arrange Me platform. I'm currently working on finding new partnerships within retail in the UK and in Europe. And the platform is really there to solve the problem of connecting with buyers. So a little bit on the foundation story of Arrange Me. It is really about getting to shelf. Nikki Jackson, our founder and still CEO, currently based in Sydney, when she moved back to Australia, when she worked in London, but she moved back to Australia and founded a family. She got a daughter that developed some terrible rash, terrible eczema. And together with a pharmacist in Australia, she developed a natural skincare brand, basically, that worked wonders for her daughter. And with all her experience in retail and fast-moving consumer good, with the big fast-moving consumer companies like Kellogg's, like Britvic, she thought, okay, this is an awesome product. It works wonders for my daughter. Everybody should get access to this product. So with her knowledge, with her network, with her expertise, she set out in the Australian market to try and get listings. But she kind of ran into a wall with that one, because as a very small brand, up and coming brand, it was extremely hard for her to actually get a conversation with a buyer. And this is basically the foundation, the origin story of Arrange Me. She decided, okay, let's skip the brand. We need to find a way that helps brands connect with retail buyers. And thus Arrange Me was born. So what we currently do is we create a way for suppliers, for brands, to submit their products for evaluation to retail buyers, and helping them to discover what is next, what is going to be the next major item on their shelf. This is an image. It sparks an aha erlebnis with basically everybody who looks at this from a fast-moving consumer perspective, with the buyer at the center, and on the left-hand side, the buyers being bombarded by phone calls, by social media outings, getting Excel files, PowerPoint demonstrations, even random samples sent to the office in order to basically for suppliers to get some airtime with this buyer. What we have done, we've created a funnel, basically a way to submit in a standardized format via Arrange Me to a retailer, and then they will evaluate based on the categories they're responsible for. On the other end, the platform is basically a vast discovery hub. We've got over 200,000 suppliers on the platform already, about 20,000 from Europe. And it offers just a vast network for suppliers and buyers to connect. If you create a profile, it is kind of like LinkedIn. Set all your data in there correctly in a standardized format, and buyers will be able to filter through and select basically in 30 to 60 seconds, get an idea of what the product is and if this is something they can continue forward with. To give you an idea of the partners we work with, I already mentioned that we've started off in Australia. After a year, we moved over to the US, and about 80% of the top 100 US retailers use Arrange Me as their product discovery platform. So besides the UK names you see right here as Tesco, Asda, Co-op, Lloyds, Boots, there are major grocers in the US and in Australia that use the platform for their onboarding and product discovery. And again, across all categories. So grocers, there's health, there's pet, a lot of beauty as well. Bed Bath & Beyond is one of the partners. So in DIY, there's even an angle. So there's different ways and different categories that are being covered. Overall, I think we're at 44 main categories that diverge into about 1,700 subcategories for buyers and suppliers to populate. Before diving into the actual platform demo, I want to show you this one. This is our partnership with Tesco. And just to demonstrate what a route looks like. So whenever you would like to submit your products to Tesco, you'd go to submit your products, open up this one, and basically find yourself on a landing page of rangeme.com/Tesco. You can either create a free profile if you do not have one just yet. Within this flow, there are also custom questions, and this is something to be mindful of. These questions are there to on top of the regular information we collect, the regular data points we collect. And these are questions especially inputted by buyers, by the buying team, the product discovery teams of these retailers. Do take some time to answer these. I know Co-op had a question in there that says something along the lines of, how are you considering sustainability? Because Co-op is looking to be carbon neutral by 2040. And if you then answer with very, you really won't stand out. These are some very important topics to these retailers. This is your chance to shine. Take some time to answer these questions to the best of your ability and really stand out. Now, for the platform itself, this is a buyer's view. So I'm going to show you what a buyer will go through, how they can select their profile, select their categories, and how they can browse the website. First off, their settings. As I mentioned, there's about 44 categories, 1,600 subcategories, and it's really quite easy for a buyer to just dive in, select what is relevant, save, and have their whole experience revolve around these categories only. As I mentioned, there's over 200,000 suppliers on here. We always work with the buyers to make sure their profiles are up to date, that they're looking at the right categories, and that they then are exposed to the right innovation. They can also save searches. So whenever they've got a certain set of parameters they're looking for, they can save this search. And when anything new hits the platform that hits that search, they will be notified. And below, they can set their notification. That also includes messaging with a supplier. So for a supplier, it's important that the way you are going to be noticed by these buyers is by submitting to these retailers for evaluation. These buyers are protected, are privately protected, so it's not an open conversation just yet. Once a buyer reviews your product and starts a conversation, that is when the dialogue commences. There's also sample settings. So whenever a buyer hits a sample request button, you'll know who to send it to, what the instructions are, where it needs to go, what building, what floor, address to whom. And this way, the samples do get to the right address and the right person. Here, I'm going to go to the browse page. This is basically where all the magic happens. So this is where discovery happens. On top, there's a Google search bar. Basically, you can type in anything you look for. Barcode information, product information, trend information. There's also collections. So a buyer could potentially look at what's trending on Instagram within the categories they're responsible for. They select this one. They will get 100 brands with 100 products that have been doing well on Instagram in the past month. And the Instagram's accounts are the ones that are added to these profiles. So looking at a brand, and this is where it kind of becomes like LinkedIn. So you've got a bit of a profile of the company itself. Right here, the information of the business itself, the social feeds, the listings. And this is something buyers really love. Knowing, okay, my competitor has got this products on their shelf. What am I missing out on? Profile information right here. So you can tell a bit more about the company, add a video if you'd like to, just to give some more body, some more feel to the profile. And on a product level, they can then dive in and have a look at pricing, the trade shows they attend, Certifications is also a key one, so you can add all relevant certifications. And we've just done our 2021 digest. I'll be happy to share that with you, with the certifications that are most searched by buyers. And it is really a key item to use in your product profiles. Again, it all dives deep into what the product is about, up until barcode information, product ingredients, potentially a marketing spend in some pictures. And we always give the opportunity for a buyer to save, to sample, and to message. And it doesn't really matter what the brand is you click into, buyer will always have the same overview and the same way of getting the information they require. So in a nutshell, this is what RangeMe is and how it's being used by buyers. It is truly a platform where you can build your own profile, add the products you want to submit for evaluation. There's also campaigns, so limited time campaigns that we often do besides the standard links we have with these retailers. These limited time campaigns are often focused on a certain category, a certain question, a certain range of view they're looking for. So you will always be up to date and up to speed when to submit and when it is relevant for a buyer to be exposed to your products.
First of all, thank you. I think it's a brilliant platform. If I was a buyer myself, I'd be using it. Likewise, if I was a supplier. But one question I have here for you, Willem, is RangeMe really free?
Yes. So there is no pay barrier between a buyer and a supplier for submitting. It's similar to LinkedIn. So with LinkedIn, everybody can get a profile. But if you want to opt in for some additional features, some additional insight, there is RangeMe Premium. Currently for the US. For Europe and the UK, we're still developing that. And to become verified, to have a premium profile, it'll cost $1,399. But we do check images, barcode information, ingredients, business type, packaging, insurance. And that's all to make sure that you get the green tick. And buyers will know, okay, this is a brand that is verified, and the route to shelf will be easier to manage.
Follow-up one with that as well. I guess you could potentially answer this as well, or I can as well. If both RangeMe and ECRM are connected, do you provide discounts for joining both platforms?
I think when joining an ECRM program, the cost for global market is reduced.
Yeah, and that is something we can, of course, share more information on ECRM as a whole, how global market differs from let's say the core programs and the category specific programs. So we'll just continue with Q&A for now. If you do have any questions, feel free to pop them into the Q&A icon. They can be anonymous, or you can have your name. It's up to yourselves. There is one here. I'm not sure if Margaret is still here, so maybe I can answer one, which is what happens at the 10-minute mark if the meeting with the buyer isn't quite closed? So on ECRM Connect platform, there will be a little guidance of how much time you have left with the buyer. So you can see the countdown, and when it gets to about a minute, it will just fade into the screen that you only have a minute left. But most of the time at that point, if there is a genuine interest from the buyer, you will have already exchanged your contact details. And also, if there's an eager interest and the 10 or 20 minutes wasn't enough time to solidify a deal or talk more commercial aspects of that conversation, the buyers and suppliers just take that offline. And now you do have a contact for the foreseeable future. Done.
Yeah, Bruno, a question came in, what the category focus, the category offers are for limited time campaigns. So these campaigns are based on the needs of the buyers and the retailers we work with. So it could be that we've got information about their ranging calendar. So when they are reviewing what calendar, and then we support them in those reviews with a 2-week, 3-week campaign for new product discovery. They will then take that into their overall loop of range reviews. or it could be that they've got a gap in their range, either through supply issues or that they're currently looking for something new in category XYZ. So it's really buyer-driven, retailer-driven, what these campaigns are about.
I'll just chime in also on the contact details. So for suppliers and buyers, whoever you have a meeting with, you will receive their contact details after. So not necessarily direct lines, but everyone will have each other's office lines and the email contacts that are provided.
And Clayton, are you able to name some of the British food and beverage retailers and distributors that we're currently working with? Just to name a few.
Yep, so the list is all available online. So for instance, just a few like Ocado, Holland and Barrett are also participating. Co-op is participating in the upcoming food programs in March, food and beverage.
And I do want to bounce back to, there was a question from Sandra that she asked Benham in regards to 10 and 20 meetings. So, and I had this question before previous webinars and meetups in regards to 10 minutes not being a long time. So how best to prepare for those meetings. So from my side, adding on to what Benham already said, is that I would encourage every supplier to efficiently prepare for their meetings. It's to use the meeting to pique the interest of the buyer and not to try and close a deal. So leaving the commercial aspects and the pricing at the end, but focusing in the first instance on your product SKUs, the capabilities, the quality of the ingredients, and also the experience you already have with working with retailers where your products are being sold, because all of this information is what buyers are looking for when deciding on a potential partnership with a new supplier. Why only 20 minutes, 10 or 20 minutes? Well, I mean, I figured that this one is kind of already been covered. Efficiency is the key with the meetings. Benham gave a very honest opinion that he thinks no one actually needs 20 minutes and you can all do it in the first 10 minutes. So, you know, if you do opt for 20 minutes, maybe you have a larger product SKU range and you really want to focus on multiple brands that you have, that's also fine. That's why that 20-minute package option is there. But more than that, I don't think it's necessary, because sometimes there will be occasional buyer meetings that you may have where you don't see that it's a right fit. And sometimes, you know, those only last a couple of minutes. So I also do think 10 and 20 minutes is enough, and again, efficient. And the most important thing is just the preparation, leaving enough time for the questions and ensuring that that first 3 to 5 minutes is just focusing on your capabilities and what the buyer wants to hear. Or analytics available on the free version of RangeMe to show how many views a brand holder's products are getting.
There is some data available for a standard, a free profile, but to get more insight, more in-depth knowledge, also what products buyers have been looking at, how long they've been looking at certain products, that is within the premium package.
That will conclude today's webinar. So I just want to thank all the panelists and all the speakers that have been on here, especially Sandra and Benham outside of ECRM, and Willem, of course, from RangeMe, who are able to share all their insights and experience with working with ECRM. If you're a non-FDEA member, I would definitely encourage you to reach out to Sandra, find out what are the benefits of joining FDEA as a member. There is a lot of promotion that they offer for not only digital programs, but also trade fairs and helping UK suppliers both with their export and import. So again, thank you very much. And this wraps up the first webinar. I hope you all had a very pleasant experience.